Well, temperature ramping up in the ambient air. Blue Belgian skies here on Sunday afternoon, and it's time for the KZ2 final. Tommy van der Stroys and Robin Glerum line up on the front row. Van der Stroys has taken pole position and the win in the pre-finals so far this weekend. So Jens Ter and Jeffrey Fixer round out row 2 ahead of Renzo Alibax and Daniel Tenbach, who round out row 3. Dominic Reuters and Sam van der Schuilen round out row number 4. Julian Carmen, Doug van Siftal, Frederik Zerbes, Sita van Meert, Giovanni Witteveen, Ryan Kiewicz-Bosch, Sam Wienma, Milan van Winden, and then we've got Jake Weston, Jordi Bonema, Jeroen van Duivenvoort rounding out the top 19. Thomas van der Stelt rounds out the top 20. Nelson Berghaus, Kevin Stehar, Rick Mewers and Josh Price round out the starting order. 24 drivers. Well, Sita van Meert got a 3-second time penalty for unsportsmanlike driving. There are more official warnings given for people leaving their cart before the front fairing check. Drivers 232, 271 and 287. Jake Weston, Jeroen van Duivenvoort and Ryan Kiewicz-Bosch. Five drivers, one of which was 271 Jake Weston. Another one, Jeroen van Duivenvoort. 5-second front fairing penalty, along with the 209, 221 and 208. So Nelson Berghaus, 221 Thomas van der Stelt and Milan van Winden, and Nelson Berghaus got demoted a place for unsportsmanlike driving. So Van der Stroys, Tommy's been the talk of the town this weekend, hasn't he? Even with the dramas he's had on Friday free practice.
He was really, really fast, and he showed his pace again. Also the consistent pace.
Yeah.
Driving one fast lap in a KZ is one thing, but doing it for the entire race is another. But he has proved himself, so I think we'll see some fireworks in this KZ2 final from him.
Chinese variety fireworks, I think, might be the asking here, Yop, because we have 26 degrees air temperature. I'm so glad that in my hire car I've got a pair of shorts to cool my legs down on the journey back home tonight.
Yeah. But
it's been a very, very hot day. Now, obviously, you've experienced it when you're going like 25, 26 degrees Celsius and above. How much weight would you say that you've probably sweated out of your body by the end of a sprint race? Because obviously, when you've got like the Formula One drivers where they're losing 3 to 4 kilos, let's say at Singapore, you are you're basically a hot, sweaty mess after the minute you take that race helmet off. You've got helmet hair, it's all over the shop, you're red-faced. You must lose quite a bit of fluid, and you must feel quite dehydrated afterwards as well.
Yeah, definitely. The thing with karting is you can have your visor up a little bit and you get the nice fresh air. But in car racing, I think a week ago the car got 50 degrees Celsius inside the car.
Yeah.
At its hottest. So then you definitely need to hydrate a lot during the day.
I was going to say, with your Porsche 718 Cayman's GT4 with Stock Sport, you must have some sort of like pipe coming in, just blowing that nice, cool air into the car.
Yeah, we have by regulations a working AC unit, but we don't use it during the race because it's called horsepower. So just put it on full power in the grid.
And then when you do your cool down lap, then you switch it on. It's like, that's lovely.
So the drivers lining up at the start right now. I was speaking to Sam van Voskeilen. He was feeling very confident about the start. Always laid back as he is, so I'm looking forward what we can see from him this race.
Green flag waves at the back. Drivers instructed to look at the lights for one final time. Red lights on the gantry. Revs rise, and the final is go. Oh, slow start from the outside of the front row by Glerum. Fixer tries to get his way through. A couple of drivers going off the circuit, having to avoid those slow starters in front. Josh Price did not start the race. One driver very slow coming out of turn 3, and it's nearly coming to a nearly coming to a halt. Jeffrey Fixer up to P3, 3 wide at the back end of the field. This driver, the back end, I think might be Jake Weston, has gotten up to speed, but Van der Stroys has bolted already up the road.
He's definitely learned from his small mistake in the pre-final, now firing it up right from the start. He's got a big gap, and I think it's going to be very, very difficult for the rest of the field to catch up to Tommy, as he has shown his consistent pace.
Could be the best part of half a second to 6/10 by the end of the opening lap. Lap 1 completed, Van der Stroys leads the way, and the lead over the next place driver is 1.36 seconds. It's like he's gotten out of, he's done a Sebastian Vettel. He's gotten out of DRS zone. We've only gone through one lap. But Robin Glerum, Jeffrey Fixer, Jens Streur, and Daniel Tenbach round out the top 5 at the moment. Fixer looking for a move on Glerum as they come out of turn 6 onto the Europolan for the second time. Renzo Alibax has dropped from 5th, now runs 8th. Sita Van Meert up to 11th as Fixer puts the Frighteners on Glerum for P2 out of turn number 8.
He's really pushing the pressure on here. Glerum is trying to hang on, but Fixer goes for the move at the Canteen Cafe corner. Ooh, that was a very good lunge from him.
Oh, yes, indeed it was. Turn 10 by Jeffrey Fixer makes the move. Jens Streur was looking up the inside of Glerum through the final corner, but no room at the end there for the 2:01. They come across the line to complete lap number 2, and Van der Stroy as well. If he's got a 1.7 second advantage after 2 laps, and at this early stage of this race, if he bolts and gets at least a 3.5 second advantage by, let's say, lap 6, lap 7, well, I think the race will effectively be his to lose here, Yacht, because everyone else is squabbling. Now Jeffrey Fixer's got some clear air, he can start hunting down Van der Stroy.
Yeah, the Fix is already pulling away from Glerum, who seems to be struggling a little bit more in this race. So, and as I'm just saying that, it's Streur who goes up the inside at the same corner as Fixer did the lap before.
Yeah, wondering if with these hotter conditions. Oh, Van Vos. Oh, dearie me. That was so close there for. I think it is. I think that was Van Verskyler, possibly. Well, Sam Van Verskyler. He's dropped all the way down to 19th at the moment. I think it might have been Dominic Reuters on the Praga that was very close to coming into contact with Julian Cameron for 7th position. Literally coming into contact. You got Milan van Vinden and Dirk van Ziftal just behind Zita Van Meert. She's really picking up the pace. She's in the low 53.8s, which is, let's put it this way, 4/10 behind. Pace of Van der Stroy is the race leader. As Alibax trying to go on the offensive against the Birlant of the 2-2-3 of Daniel Tenbach. Here into turn number 12. Who's going to dive to the inside? Everyone thinks better of it for the moment.
Van der Stroy is still gaining 2/10 almost every lap. It's going to be very difficult to catch back up to him. But we have some fair fights behind. It's again Alibax who's really knocking on the door at Tenbach, who seems to be struggling a little bit with the grip.
Yes, indeed. So. So the battles continue onward here in the KZ2 final. So at the moment, it is going to be the case of one driver. Right, sorry about that. Just had to do an announcement for a steward's call to the paddock outside. But you were saying, great battles up and down the order here. Van der Stroy has bolted 2.5 seconds up the road. We're nearly at the halfway point in this race, and everyone's just battling for the scraps over the table now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Streuer's going to try to fight for this race for second place, because it's going to be very difficult to catch back up to the lead if nothing crazy happens. It's now Van der Stroy's duty to take no big risk and just cruise it down to the finish. It's 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, and if you were a Finn, you need plenty of Sisu to keep your way through this field. And that just goes to show that some drivers are able to capitalise, whilst others, depending on the situation, if the tyres aren't at the right tyre pressure, if the camber, the caster, the toe in, the toe out is not set up correctly, if the gearbox is not syncing, is not shifting in synchronicity with the engine when you're going through the rev range, as you said, 14,000 RPM red line. That's basically like an old school Formula One engine about to hit the red line in the old V10 era we're talking here. Not like now where you get to 10, 10 and a half, 11,000 RPM and you are shifting up. So now we have got a really good battle because who has closed in on Jeffrey Fixer? It's Jens Strø. Great to see the man on the Croc Promotion chassis. This year's Karting Champions League Winter Series winner, right on the back of the Maranello driver.
What also is very, very impressive is that off camera, Kevin Stehauer has moved up 12 places already and is now in 10th place.
He's not the only one. Milan van Winden up 7 spots. Rick Mew is up 8 spots from 23rd. He's now rounding out the top 15. So this is why we love KZ2, because you get these clumps of 2, 3 KZ2 gladiators battling away, tooth and nail. And then you get these drivers that just go, right, I'm going to give them in the commentary box a little bit of a surprise. Hello, remember me? 12 places gained. You know, it's like the kid that starts 20th in a cross-country race and comes home across the line and gets P3. You're like, where did you come from? Yeah, well, everyone didn't pace themselves, did they? And that's what KZ2 is all about. You know this. You pace yourself. If you go out of the blocks way too early, or, case not in Point van der Stoys, because that's different, because we're nearly 5 minutes to go plus 2 laps, and van der Stoys is controlling it quite comfortably. I mean, I still remember a couple of years ago, he was 10th coming into the final round of the B&L karting series, and he went and won it. That year, he was 10th in the standings, and he was champion by the end of the weekend. And no one believed me when I said, some people, I always say, look, just keep an eye out on this kid. There's something about this kid. And that's what you can say about certain drivers. They have that it factor, don't they? That
Exactly.
There's something special.
They have the small margins to win when it really counts. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, Kevin Stehauer passing Van Winden on the end of the European chicane, grabbing another place. Now up 13 places in 9th.
And he's, yes. And Kevin Stehauer, last 3 laps, 52.3, 52.1, 52.1. Now about to complete lap 10. Okay, so van der Stoys has crossed the line. Let's see how close the gaps are.
I think you're not going to believe this, but Kevin Stehauer is already moving up.
Yes.
He's already putting Reuters on the pressure.
Yeah, Dominic Reuters is having to watch his 6 because Stehauer is there. And it's Reuters on the Praga chassis. IPK Praga, one of the chassis partners of the Rotax Grand Finals for many a year. And also has its own branch-off brands such as Formula K. Up the inside, Stehauer, millimetre perfect. And that is position number 14 gained by the 211. Ho, 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 ho. Kevin Stehauer, take a bow after that one.
I was actually speaking to him this morning, and he said, I'm struggling a little bit with the pace. We need to find some other factor to make it a little bit better. But I think he found what he was looking for, because he's absolutely
Van Winden and Reuters went wheel to wheel out of the final quarter. There was a hip check from the CRG on the Praga. And now we've got this battle here. This is going to be the 229. Julian Carmen versus the Birolot, the 223 of Daniel Tenbach. Out of turn 6. Now look how fast they accelerate. They're at about, what, 120, 130 going into the braking zone there, Job?
Yeah, definitely. At Europalaan is actually very, very quick straight, coming out of the hairpin and really, really fast into the chicane. But these shifters really, really reach high speeds up here.
I hate to think, what's the highest ever speed you've recorded in KZ2? Must be like 140 plus?
In kilometers per hour, 170 plus at Las Vegas.
170 kilometers an hour. Folks, that is north of 105 miles per hour. 160 kilometers an hour is effectively 100 miles per hour. So you're traveling at pretty much a fairly decent Autobahn speed at top whack in a KZ2, effectively.
And that with only 3 centimeters off the ground.
3 centimeters, yeah, that's your backside 3 centimeters off the ground with the 6-speed kart that has, effectively, folks, less than 50 horsepower, about 40 to 45 horsepower, depending on the powertrain provider. But yeah, we've got a real possibility here of a few drivers. Well, it's been difficult for Sam van der Schuilen. He's down in 18th. Sita van Miert, she's only gained 1 place. But we've got a minute and a half to go, plus 2 additional laps. Right. Lead gap, 4.7 seconds. Top 9 covered by 10.3. Top 15 covered by 14 seconds. That just goes to show that there are big gaps sometimes between some of the drivers, but look who's latching on to this battle. Kevin Stayhauer could net. Oh, now hang on a second. I might have seen something a little bit awry with the rear bumper, possibly, of Milan van Vinden. Now, I did see it bump up and down a second ago. Whether that might be starting to come loose could be a bad omen for the 208, so race control will have their eyeballs on stalks, I'm sure, of anything, whether it's safety related. And Dominic Reuters having a bit of a ding-dong battle of his own coming out of the final corner. That would have been against Sita van Miert. But, yeah, Kevin Stayhauer, could he make up 16 places by the end of this race? We are coming down to the final 15 seconds plus 2 additional laps. As let's just see. Stayhauer's just made up another place. He's just gone through turn 7.
What did this guy have for breakfast? It's absolutely unbelievable.
He had his Ready Brack, his Weetabix all in one.
Really, really impressive to see.
Oh, Kevin Stayhauer with the comeback of the weekend. Well, one of the comebacks. Ralph van der Pevert this weekend as well. But, yeah, down to the final 2 laps of the race. Sita van Miert gives Dominic Reuters a little bit of a shove. Oh. And there is Kevin Stayhauer. Stayhauer strikes again. It sounds like a Star Wars trilogy. And Kevin Stayhauer now is up to 6th place. But he's not. The thing is, all he's got to do is just stay ahead of the 3 in front, 3 behind him. Kevin Stayhauer, one of the best comebacks in KZ2 I have ever seen in my commentary career. And he's in the colours of Kartsport Hire. So Sven Hire, you backed the right horse on this one.
Yeah, the LGK seemingly works around Genk at the final here. Yeah, it's really, really good to see that, that he has found an extra bit of pace in order to make this comeback possible.
Yeah, so we are very much on the case. Last lap, Van der Stoys, 5.7 seconds clear. Jens Tour has about 1.2 kilometers of distance to try and catch and pass Jeffrey Fixer. Then there's Robin Glerum and Renzo Alibax. These 3 were covered by 1.4 seconds as we headed on to the 17th and final lap. And despite engine troubles through free practice on Friday and on Saturday, well, the 16-year-old from The Hague in the Netherlands, Tommy van der Stoys, has come up trumps here at the home of champions. He does pole position. He wins the pre-final. It's the clean sweep for the 2-5-4. Second, Jeffrey Fixer. Third, Jens Tour, Robin Glerum, Renzo Alibax. And from 22nd, Kevin Stayhauer takes 6 on the road. Oh my days. Oh my days. Let's quickly run through the finishing order of that one. Julian Carmen, Daniel Tenbach, Milan van Vinden, and Sita van Miert round out your top 10. There's your race winner, Tommy van der Stoys. Mr. Domination, Martin. Remember that phrase from 2018. And that was in his first ever weekend as a Micromax driver in the B&L karting series. And whenever he's dominant like that, I use that phrase to good effect. So Sita van Miert rounds out the top 10. Dominic Reuters, Dirk van Zift out, Frederik Zebis, Rick Mewes, Ryan Kivitz-Bosch ran out the top 15. Giovanni Wittwien, Sam Wiener, Sam van Verschuilen, Jorim Mollema, Jeroen van Duivenvoort round out the top 20 with Thomas van der Stelt, Nelson Berghaus, and Jake Weston finishing 1 lap down. Josh Price, a non-starter. Job Briefeld, thank you for joining me once again, and I'm sure we'll catch up very soon.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.